another edition of the Sports Report. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report, and once again is the Tony and Barnes Show. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well today, Barnes. How are you?
Very well indeed. As we sit here, Tony, on the first day of November. How weird is that?
Oh my goodness, dude! Turn the page in your calendars. It's super weird. I can't believe that it's November already, dude.
And imagine if we were gearing up for Game 3 between the Yankees and the Mets in the World Series. Instead, we're stuck with the Phillies and the Astros. Probably, if we think about collectively for us, two of the worst teams that we could have had in the World Series.
Yeah, probably at this point. It's tough to kind of, I guess, figure out who to root for here. But it is kind of tough to the postponement yesterday. I guess it was raining over there in Philly.
The overnights are going to be terrible.
Yeah.
The ratings for this World Series. I mean, dogs should be all over it.
Oh yeah.
It's just there's just no buzz, no juice. But definitely hope the Phillies can do it. But
really
don't have the time to watch and find out, Tony.
Oh.
I feel like you've always been like, have you ever actually like watched like a whole World Series, like obviously like the Mets aren't in it, but you're watching every game, like actually into it.
Yeah.
Never could do it.
Especially like, working at MLB Network, kind of had to also.
Right.
But yeah, of course. I mean, I'm still interested in the games here. I do the same thing with the Stanley Cup. I still watch.
Right, but I feel like that's different. I don't know.
It is a little different, but I mean, it's not like I'm not, falling over myself to get to the couch and watch the games. But if I'm available, I'll put the game on rather than anything else.
Well, and I feel like too. I mean, is there really even like a NHL team that you hate?
Yeah, I guess maybe the Penguins would be the team I most hate, or I guess the Devils.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not the same as the Braves, the Phillies.
I definitely hate the Phillies way more.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, me, the Red Sox, the Astros,
any team besides the Yankees.
Something
really.
about the Mets. But anyway, Tony, let's get started in the world of the National Football League.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. Touchdown, Tampa Bay! How about that throw? Sam Darnold blasted! Oh my goodness, did he take a hit? In trouble once, brings him down. Lost one for Odell Beckham Jr. Got it down, touchdown!
All right, Tony. So a little bit of a surprise last night on Monday Night Football as the Cleveland Browns blow out the Cincinnati Bengals 32-13, shutting them out for the first 3 quarters of this game. Dominating time of possession, 36-45 to 23-15.
Wow.
Of course, doing their thing on the ground, out rushing the Bengals 172-36. And surprisingly, outpassing the Bengals. And that's something no one saw coming, 268 to 193. So you went into this game with kind of exactly opposite sentiments here. Seemed like, the Bengals had turned the corner, and the Browns, after letting a couple games earlier this season get away, it seemed like they were going to be out of it before Deshaun Watson would even return to the field. But they do pick up the victory here. And I think, the star of this game, without a doubt, Nick Chubb. Hard to argue he's not the best running back in the league. 23 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. And passing the ball, boy, I'll tell you, obviously, the trade deadline is today, and there's a trade that happened yesterday we'll talk about in a second. But it's a shame that Deshaun Watson's still a few weeks away, because I think Jacoby Brissett with the way he's played this season, would definitely fetch some teams interested in improving their quarterback situations. 17 to 22 for 278 and a touchdown, sacked twice, and had a QBR of 81.3 versus Joe Burrow's quarterback of 17.6. So clearly the Bengals, missing Jamar Chase, but you felt like they still should have enough. But I think, Burrow's offensive line doesn't do him any help in terms of 5 sacks. And Myles Garrett all over the field, a sack and a half for him last night. And how about this? Joe Burrow has still never beaten the Cleveland Browns.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not something good, dude.
Well, I think the one thing I chalk it up to since he's been in the league, so has Myles Garrett. And the offensive line for the Bengals has been porous.
Porous.
I think those are the reasons why it's been a bad matchup. As Jay checks in and says Nick Chubb cannot be stopped. That hurdle was out of control. It's funny too. I was talking about this with Pooch last night. The hurdle. I mean, up until 7-8 years ago, you never saw it. Now it's like this trendy thing. But the only thing is, most of the time, I mean, what are they getting? An extra 3 yards? Like, I think maybe he got 5, but it's never like hurdles over him and then goes the whole distance.
Yeah. I know it's tough. I think it's a very interesting move. Especially since a lot of players, the way a lot of defensive players, the way they tackle is they just kind of lower their shoulder, maybe even try to kick out the legs. So it's like, first of all, you lose vision of who you're trying to tackle. You're not wrapping. So, I mean, that hurdle, dude, I think you're going to see a lot more out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, I mentioned the Browns, it seemed like their season was over before this game. And, I mentioned the trade deadline today at 4 Eastern. Before this game, you were thinking, all right, well, the Browns have to feel like, well, they'll lose. They're definitely out of it. They'll look to trade anybody with value. And obviously Kareem Hunt at top of that list. And I think despite the win, he's the one guy I would still trade because you have a very talented running back behind him and Dearness Johnson. And obviously, of course, Nick Chubb at the top of the depth chart. And I would just think, if for those playoff type teams that Kareem Hunt, a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield very well. And we saw him burst on the scene his rookie year with over 1,300 rushing yards, obviously the off the field issues, and then some injury concerns. But for a 4th round pick, I mean, why not? I mean, in a team that comes to mind for me, and I know they started playing James Cook more, Dalvin's brother, the Buffalo Bills. You know what I mean? I feel like I understand they pass the ball a lot, but it seems like they haven't had a consistent running game.
Right.
I'm not impressed with Devin Singletary. I mean, in as much as they pass the ball, you're telling me that's not a match made in heaven, Tony.
Yeah, it kind of is a shame, honestly, that Singletary isn't that great. I mean, I feel like sometimes he has these bright spots of good stuff. Even this past weekend, he had a couple good runs. I feel like he's good at kind of shuffling around, finding a hole, but I feel like he's just not as consistent. And then if you add that type of, I guess, play to their repertoire, I mean, it's gonna make their offense that much more versatile, that much more tougher to defend.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, do they send the Browns an offer? You think they would be motivated, obviously. Hunt, the last year of his deal, requested a trade before the season. I mean, I guess you would get a compensatory selection back at the end of the year if you don't re-sign him, but it seems like there's value to be had there. So that's something to keep an eye out for. And another guy that they probably would have traded had they lost this game was Amari Cooper, but he had a great game last night, 5 for 131 in the score. Obviously, with Deshaun Watson coming back, I'm sure they'll want to keep him in the fold, and they got to hope that David Njoku, who went down with an ankle injury last week, can return by the time Watson's back. But the whole thing is just getting him as comfortable as possible, as it's been a very, very long layoff. Did you see on the wide receiver pass, Amari Cooper? I would have to say worst pass I've ever seen.
I did not see it. Was it that bad? Oh,
right to the defender, like just a lob too. No heat on it or anything.
Oh,
and he had a guy rushing after him, and sure, his guy was coming down the field and then he got hit. But it's like, dude, I mean, when you see a guy in your face, you got to get some distance on the throw. I mean, just eat the thing. I mean, luckily that didn't come back to bite there. So be interesting to see. The Browns here, obviously staying alive. So, be interesting to see if they can kind of put something together. Watson's going to be back in week 13. And before, they have their bye week here, they do play the Dolphins, the Bills, the Bucks, and the Texans? Okay, huh? I don't know why they haven't had their bye yet, but it doesn't seem like that makes any sense to me. But okay, my mistake, Tony. Bye this week, and then after the bye, Dolphins, Bills, Bucks, and then Watson comes back for the Texans. So Dolphins, Bills, and Bucks, Dolphins and Bills on the road. Kind of seems like best case scenario 1 and 2.
Best case scenario, yeah.
Right. I mean, so with that being said, I mean, you look at 1 and 2, 3 and 5, 4 and 7. You pretty much have to win your remaining 6 games with Deshaun Watson and have a shot at the playoffs. But I guess, crazier things have happened, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Now on the other side of the field here, for the Cincinnati Bengals, we know Chase will be out a few more weeks here. Any cause for concern? I mean, getting shut out until the fourth quarter. The Cleveland Browns have struggled, especially run defense. I mean, they couldn't get anything going on the ground with Mixon. You feel like between Higgins, Boyd, Hurst, and Mixon out of the backfield, that should be enough for Joe Burrow. Do you think it's more of just a bad matchup for him, or do you think there's some questionable, there's questions to be answered here, and if the Cincinnati Bengals can put it together to make the playoffs?
There's definitely some questions here. I mean, obviously one of them is I would say the offensive line. I mean, Burrow's getting sacked for 5 times, total loss of like 39 yards. I mean, when you're getting sacked for a significant loss, I mean that basically kills your drive. And again, obviously having Chase out, it kind of opens up, I guess, the defense to kind of defend other players, not have to worry that Chase is, have to double him or whatever. And then I feel like they could run the ball more. Am I wrong? I understand like it wasn't very productive, but I mean, only 10 carries on the ground here. I feel like, start off with just running it a little more consistently, try to get the running backs going.
Right.
And then you can work in some play action, try and fool the defense. I feel like their strategy could use an adjustment, obviously being that Chase is out here. So, I mean, we'll see. I think that they have, the necessary tools to make it to the playoffs, but I mean, they just have to make those adjustments. It's really more about just surviving until Chase gets back. I mean, take it one game at a time. Is there a timeline on Chase?
I mean,
not
they
necessarily.
Said potentially 4 to 6, which is obviously
Yikes,
tough.
dude, yeah.
They got their Panthers, then a bye week, then the Steelers. So luckily, those are 2 games you would expect to win. Obviously, you never know. So it'll just be kind of interesting to see. One name to keep in mind: Texans tackle Laramie Tunsil, who was originally drafted by the Dolphins. I don't know if you remember this, but slid in the draft. There was that video of him with the gas mask, taking a bong rip.
That's right, dude.
So he slid in the draft, but has had a great career. And just be interesting to see. I mean, I think that would be a match made in heaven for the Bengals. I mean, just improve that offensive line.
Yeah.
So
the bong, dude, it'll get you, man.
Oh man, I don't know if we'll ever see our society again where it's not all just about dirt and leverage and outing people, old tweets. We really live in a nasty society, Tony.
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's blackmail, it's threats. That video is hilarious.
Jay Bird loves the blackmail and threats, dude. He thinks it's hilarious.
Oh man. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see moving forward where these teams find themselves and if they make any moves before the trade deadline today. And speaking of the trade deadline, the Baltimore Ravens with a big pickup yesterday, acquiring all-pro linebacker Roquan Smith in a trade with the Chicago Bears. Smith, the former first-round linebacker from the University of Georgia, last year of his contract, had a holdout demanding a trade prior to the season, and then obviously ended up reporting third in the league in tackles. So obviously a big-time player going to the Baltimore Ravens, and that defense has been much maligned this year. So I think that's a big get for them as they sit now, virtue of that Browns victory and Bengals loss, one game clear in the division of the Bengals. So I think that's a huge move for the Ravens. And I just think there's no such thing, Tony, as too much defense.
No, dude, defense wins championships, you know?
So we'll see actually Roquan make his debut next week, Monday Night Football in New Orleans. So it'll be interesting to see. They just throw him right in the fire, and kind of becomes the defensive play caller for the Baltimore Ravens. And speaking of the Ravens, after the Saints, then they are home to the Panthers, at Jacksonville, home to the Broncos, at the Steelers, at the Browns.
Okay.
So I think there's opportunity there. And I just have a feeling, obviously he had a couple great games early, but we haven't seen the best of Lamar Jackson this season just yet.
No, I would certainly hope not. I mean, it hasn't been anything crazy, right? So
yeah. So
do you think he kind of gets it together?
Oh yeah,
definitely.
It's just I don't know. You know what I mean? And I know I look at it very simplistically, but I just have been surprised the last few weeks. He hasn't had one of those big like running games. You know what I mean? It's very limited with the pass. So just been kind of odd, but I guess, it's kind of the product of a long season, now 17 games where, stuff like that, is just bound to happen. You get in funks and it's all about getting yourself out of it.
Do you think Harbor over there is keeping him on a short leash, you think?
Tony, please.
No?
Especially contract year. They want good relationships with Lamar going into the offseason. There's going to be none of that. Let me tell you. So week 9, Tony, will begin.
Can't believe it.
Thursday night with the Eagles at the Texans. So one of the more lopsided games we will see this season in terms of the spread. Line sitting at -13 for the Philadelphia Eagles. So you would expect them to get through this one unscathed. And speaking of big spreads, how about the Jets line has now moved to +13 at home against the Bills.
Wow.
So that's one of the higher spreads we've seen, a team over 500 at home at this point in the season. So pretty remarkable stuff. And Ryan Cosner says Giants get DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, or nothing. Thoughts? I want to start with you, Tony. What's your thoughts here?
I think that's pretty hopeful. No?
Hopeful meaning that's not going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it is? I think they want those guys, but I think, Joe Shane, in his first year as Giants general manager, doesn't want to give up a lot of draft capital. And I would imagine for those guys, you're looking at least a second-round pick. So maybe something more under the radar, or dare we say an Odell Beckham Jr. Return to the Meadowlands. I'm sure all Giants fans are against that one, or at least a lot of them. But it is kind of interesting. In a way, Tony, do you kind of find it mutually beneficial just because Odell was never a bigger brand than he was with the New York Giants? And then the Giants, I know obviously now they're better, but obviously when he left, they were, a playoff team. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I feel like, obviously, we know the talents that, Beckham Jr. has here, but you think about, the boat photo, all the kind of baggage that came with him, him wanting to leave the team in the first place. I think it will be a step backwards culturally, if I said that correctly, for the Giants. Obviously, they're trying to move on and kind of rebrand and rebuild this team. I don't know if Odell is the right way to go. Have you seen any maturity in him? Kind of going to Cleveland, not really. Go to the Rams.
Yeah, I guess with the Rams, he was an A+ student there.
Yeah, but then the injury though, second time he hurt that knee, right? So kind of tough, and that was it was a non-contact injury too. It was just him planting and kind of having that kind of weird jerking knee thing, and then he's out. So I think he'll make a big splash. It'll be a good storyline. May have a few good catches, but what happens if he's not happy?
Right. Yeah. You would think Dable, he does run a tight ship, but I understand what you mean about the culture of the locker room. And obviously he was out of control, and maybe they don't want to take the chance in regards to his maturity.
And Cosner agrees here. Giants just became drama free. We don't need the bees back in the locker room.
BS, Tony. BS.
Well, he didn't say that. It's capital B and S. So it's bees.
A little chirp out of Tony. And then Matthew says 40-0 Eagles, a smackdown.
Love that. A smackdown.
Def at least a second round pick. Odell would be crazy. If the Jets trade Mims or more to the Giants, that would be real beat. But
I could see him saying that.
And of course, we always appreciate, Matthew, chiming in here. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. There's not too many, Giant Jets trades, but it'll be interesting. I would love to keep both of them, honestly, because I thought Mims, we talked about it yesterday, displayed his athletic ability on Sunday. If you want to trade, almost Morris is more of the guy to trade just because of the cultural thing,
Yeah, definitely. As Ryan Cosner is now talking some shit, dude.
I don't understand.
It says BS, Anthony. It's like, Anthony.
He calls you Anthony?
Anthony. Yeah, one of our professors back at school used to call me Anthony. So it's like kind
of like when people say Italy.
Yeah. Very funny, Brian.
Hilarious.
I love it, dude.
Hilarious. So, Tony, it just kind of, wrapping up this conversation here. Anybody, you have your eyes on that possibly, may get moved here, before the deadline today?
Oh my God. Like anyone that we've just been talking about or anyone in general?
Just in general. Yeah. Any moves on the horizon? Brandon Cooks, another one from the Texans, wide receiver. Could be good for the Giants, potentially.
Anyone could be good for the Giants in terms of wide receiving. I guess, yeah, why not go with him? And I feel like, well, actually, I don't know if that's, I feel like, I don't know. Well, actually, yeah, Texans really have nothing going. They're not waiting for anybody. They're not really.
And obviously, Cook's not a diva.
Right.
Kind of just does his job. Would give Daniel.
What do you think they would ask for that?
Maybe you could get away with a third or a fourth.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
What time's the deadline today?
4. It'd be interesting too. I know, obviously they're set with Saquon as their starting back, but how about Kareem Hunt? Add another dimension to that offense.
That would be solid. But
I mean, you have success running the ball. Now you have another guy. I don't know.
Yeah, that would definitely alleviate, some of the pressure on Barkley, some of the carries. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. You want to keep him fresh on the stretch.
Yeah.
So. Something to keep an eye out for. And I also did see the Jets, another guy, because the Broncos, obviously, despite their win in London, kind of in a tough spot here. We're interested in Bradley Chubb. I saw something about that this morning. The pass rusher from the Broncos. That could get interesting. I mean, I think that's a home run, especially if you could get an extension. That's the whole thing.
You never have enough defense.
No, pass rush.
Yeah. I mean, you take passing out of the game. I mean, it's crazy.
I guess Cosner said he's going to call back into the show soon enough. I don't remember him calling.
Way back in the day.
Oh, before I was even here.
Possibly.
Okay.
But you know what? We've heard some people say they were calling and then they never do. Okay.
Prefer?
So I'll see what I believe it.
Prefer, are you there, buddy?
No, he's definitely here, dude.
But it's insane. I mean, come on, Prefer. You can still comment.
Wow, Ryan says I can't talk Giants, Yanks, and Suns.
Yeah,
wow, he can't talk anything now.
Very interesting combo.
No,
Yankees, Giants, Suns?
But then he says I can, obviously.
Right, but do you know what the deal is there with the Suns?
I'm unaware of his basketball loyalty. So,
but you know what I'm thinking, Tony? I mean, because basketball is weird around here. Obviously, because the Knicks, of course, haven't been good in a long time. Maybe growing up, he saw Sean Marion, also known as the Matrix, Amari, Steve Nash. I mean, that was a very likable team. I liked them. You know what I mean? Not to say that they were my team, but I thought they were very fun to watch. So that could potentially
and I feel like
connection.
Solid fan base, good merch, dude. Good marketing.
Love that throwback jersey that
dude.
Charles Barkley used to wear. He says Gerald Green was a son, the 2K GOAT. I was also on the show of actually, I was there for that.
I think he did some gaming stuff too. And he was here in studio.
I think it might have been the first time I was on.
Wow,
I think he was here.
I can't even
talk about way back.
Yeah, dude.
Way back.
The legend.
But let's switch gears here, Tony, and go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot.
Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He Bowden stalled. Oh, my goodness. That's the gun right back. Terrifying and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
We actually have some breaking news.
Oh,
The Chicago White Sox to hire Royals bench coach. Of course, now it goes away.
oh,
The Royals bench coach as their manager. Obviously, the Royals just hired a manager. I think was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Quattro or something.
Obviously, they're changing their.
I
kind
don't
of
know if I've
attitude
ever.
there.
I gotta get the name. I feel. I mean, what are the chances that it just goes away?
I don't know.
I hate
dude.
how notifications are like that. You know, you press one thing and then it just goes away.
It is really
Okay.
annoying, dude.
Pedro Grifal, longtime coach with the Royals. So there you go.
Okay, and now he's gonna be the manager of the White Sox.
An interesting thought is the fact that the White Sox, Tony, I don't know if you saw this, were considering Ozzie Guillen returning to town.
Ozzie Guillen?
Yeah.
Really?
We haven't seen him, since the Marlins, and I know he had some questionable things to say. And that's why he was eventually ousted. But I think he was actually doing some TV work for the White Sox. I don't know if he still is.
Kidding.
So just something kind of interesting, but a lot, kind of the trend around baseball. Obviously, you have the Bucks and the Dusties and the Bob Melvins.
Love Dusty. Love Melvin.
But kind of the trend recently going with the no names. And to an extent, obviously, he was an interim guy, and he ends up getting the full-time job and leading them to the promised land. But Robbie Thompson, in a way, it's tough with Robbie Thompson, man. He was in the Yankees organization so long. I think possibly 17 years. He was there on the major league level the whole time with Girardi. Just what a guy. And of course, we had to go with Aaron Boone instead of him.
Yeah, so I'm just doing some research here on our boy Grifal. Before Kansas City, 10 seasons with Kansas City, by the way. Before that, 12 years in the Mariners organization, minor league manager with the Double-A affiliate, and was also a director of the minor league operations for him. So I guess, longtime coach is right. Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy what happened with the White Sox this season with
really
La
the
Russa
last
and
couple
everything.
seasons.
And
I mean, it's been 3 years in a row. Think about it. Renteriz last year.
Oh my God,
this
right.
was 2 years of La Russa and squat. One of the more talented rosters in the league. A lot of pitching, and just have not been able to get it done for whatever the reason may be. And I think it goes back. Jeez, I think since they've been a team, like they're around 500, which is just crazy to think. I mean, they're the Black Sox, literally. So it's just how up and down they've been. But as we get into hockey, Tony, a couple surprises last night. But a full slate today, and obviously our Rangers back in action. And I think, for this time of the year, this is about as big of a game as you can get. And, going into the year, you might not have thought so. Obviously the Flyers have struggled in recent years. And, we've talked about John Tortorella, now being in town, and tribute video, all of that. But what are your thoughts of the Carter Hart Igor Shesterkin matchup at the Garden tonight?
I kind of like it. I'm very surprised looking at the line here. Rangers are at -250. That's crazy. Am I wrong?
Well, I think it's the fact that despite the hot start, they see the Flyers as a team that will be lucky to be 500.
I suppose. I mean, talk about a really hot start. I mean, they did just lose to Carolina in overtime.
In overtime, the winner. Saying that's how the guy said it. You like it when he says it, but when I say it for whatever reason, you don't like it.
Well, but you do it like satirically, like sarcastically, though, because you don't like it.
But why? I still just don't understand why he goes overtime again. Like, why not just say it one time at the end?
Because you got to emphasize that it's an overtime.
Do people really do that though? I've never heard Sam Rosen do that.
No, and also like I that was a video that was cut up. All right, like it's not like he said it back to back like that.
No, I think he did.
I don't think so. If I remember correctly, I'd have to go look back at the footage,
the tape,
the archive. Anyway, dude, let's talk about what happened. screwed that up. Hold on 1 second.
That was actually kind of a nice touch, no?
No. That's what I was waiting for.
No, that you had that up.
No, I.
Let
me finish. Anyway, dude. So I understand, Philly, obviously they weren't a, highly touted team coming into the season, but regardless, off to the hot start. I mean, they're being led by Kevin Hayes, right? So like basically veteran on the Phillies at this point. He's been all over the ice. He has 10 points in the season so far, 9 assists, dude. I mean, he's playing that phenomenal role of being that big body, skating up the ice with the puck, forcing, defenses to collapse on him. He finds the open man. Big reason why the Flyers have had success. Not to mention Carter Hart. I mean, he does not have a regulation loss yet. He's 5-0-1 on the season. 938 save percentage, 2.31 goals against him, which is great. And then on top of that, I mean, the Flyers have been scoring, they beat Florida 4-3, Nashville 3-1. Even in their overtime loss here, they still scored 3 goals, right? So, it's going to be, I think it's honestly a really good matchup, a rivalry team here. I'm surprised the Rangers, I understand at home, they definitely have more talent spread across the team here, a better goalie on the stat sheet. But the fact is right now, the Phillies are very hot.
You mean the Flyers? Wow.
Damn
You're
it,
really
dude.
thinking
I keep thinking baseball. The Flyers are still really hot. So I'm just dying for some baseball, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk forever. Off-season plans, future trajectory.
Winter meetings, and dude. Anyway.
Front office. Czar in the front office, Tony.
Pedro Grifol.
It is real quick though. Is Stearns coming to New York, or because I heard a little rumblings? He's done in Milwaukee. He was rumored to be in play last year. Because they're thinking in terms of having him be president because Sandy's retiring.
Right.
You haven't heard anything on that front?
No, I mean, obviously, I've heard when he was,
originally,
kind of picked to be in that spot. But I mean, it'd be interesting to see if we can, align up some ideas.
What about
here.
Theo? Would you take Theo? I honestly, I know it sounds insane, but I actually would take him. And his last position was with the Cubs. So it's not like he's directly coming.
Does he want though? Like I feel like this is the same questions. Like, does he really want to do it?
But I know Hal's too cheap, but I think if you gave him $20 million a year, he probably would do it. No, $30 million, $40 million, $50 million. Doesn't Leon Rose get like $50 million?
I mean, everyone has a number. Yeah. God, dude.
I just want to win, man. All
right. Anyway. Rangers tonight, I understand you. They're on the 2-game winning streak. Obviously,
let's get a big win streak going. Come on,
exactly. I think this is the time here. You rallied against Dallas. You did your job against the Coyotes here. This is definitely going to be a tougher battle, a tougher game for them. But hey, man, we've seen what they can do, what they can score. I think that this game, I'm telling you, it's going to start with big saves from Shesterkin. Okay, the Flyers. And I said Flyers this time. All right, come out hot. They're gonna be skating hard. They're gonna be moving the puck quickly, using that speed, using the space. Shesterkin has to have a few big saves, get the crowd going, get the team going. Quick transition to offense, catch the Flyers here on their heels a little bit. Maybe they overextend their defenders in the offensive zone. Blue line looks pretty clear. A little bit of a breakaway from Kreider here. Quick feed to Panarin. They're up 1-0 quick, and they just keep rolling from there. We've seen time and time again that the Rangers come out flat, like you can't be doing that. This is going to be a serious team here. You got to come out hard. And like I said, Shesterkin, brick wall to start off, get the momentum going, get the good attitude, the high octane level of play early and often. And the Flyers, I guarantee you will back down, dude. They're like I said, they're riding hot right now, but most of them are young. Kevin Hayes obviously knows the Rangers very well. You can't be putting up stupid mistakes here.
What's the score?
I'll say if everything goes well for the Rangers take this one 4-1.
All right. And may I say that, possibly Chris Kreider, would be due for a big game. I think it's been a little bit of a quiet start to the season.
I would take a goal and 2 assists from him tonight.
How about 2 goals and 2 assists?
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, enough. Like, we don't want to backpedal. We want to move forward.
A goal and 2 assists isn't exactly backpedaling.
Yeah, but from a scoring perspective, I know very small sample size, albeit, but a slow start.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, maybe, I mean, I would like to think that he's a professional about it, but I'm sure he expected to wear the C this year,
Yeah. That could be very true. Very
So-
true. So something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
So for my first pick here, I'm going to take the Flames at home against Seattle. And they've been competitive early, 4-4. But I just love the Flames at home. They seem to really play well with the crowd behind them, and I love the impact that Kadri has had since joining. Really stepping right in, taking that leadership role from Johnny Gaudreau.
Really expected that from him, honestly.
Yeah.
Not missing a beat.
No, not at all. And I think too, we'll see Lindholm. He only has 2 goals to start the season, so expect him to kind of get going. And Markstrom, I feel like no one really talks about Markstrom, but I mean, isn't he one of the better goalies in the league or no?
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's a very solid goalie. Yeah. Especially for the longevity of his career so far.
So you think about him versus Martin Jones. I like the advantage there. So let's say 6-3, the Flames over the Kraken.
All right, dude. My next pick here, I think you know who I'm gonna go with.
You really the hottest team in the NHL. You have to do it.
Yeah. Was that a problem?
Well, I mean, you're just obsessed with them.
Because they're playing some really good hockey right now. And again, looking at this other line, I understand, Pittsburgh, talk about off to a slow start. They're 4-4-1 here. Not exactly a Penguin Pittsburgh start here. They're on a 4-game losing streak, scoring only 3 goals in their past 3 games. 6 goals in their past 4 games here, losing to Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. That's pretty tough for them. And obviously, look at the Boston Bruins here, who are 8-1. Most notably, obviously, I talk about their offensive a lot, but Linus Ullmark right now has not lost the game on the season. He has 1 shutout, 6 wins, no losses, 1.7 average goals against here, and then a .945 save percentage. He's on fucking fire. How do you not go with him? And I understand Pittsburgh's at home here, but the line is -125 in favor of Pittsburgh. What is that?
Trap?
No, it's not a trap. Let's bet the mortgage on the Bruins tonight, because that's outrageous. I really can't see. I understand, obviously, Crosby's off to a Crosby start, 11 points in the season, 4 goals, 7 assists. But other than that, I think you're just not seeing a lot from the rest of the guys here. A couple guys on the Penguins are struggling with some injuries here. A lot of guys are day-to-day, so you're not really sure what the lineup's going to look like. You have Jake Goudsnell, who's day-to-day, Zucker day-to-day, Letang day-to-day, and then Jeff Carter, one of their centers, is also day-to-day, right? So, they're struggling with a couple injuries here today. I don't know. I understand, you have McAvoy and Krejci, who's on the IR for Boston, but that obviously has not been an issue for them in recent games. So it's tough. I understand, Penguins obviously are a good team. They're going to do well, but right now, I don't think they're breaking this losing streak. I don't care if it's at home. They're playing the Bruins, who's very hot. Only 1 regular season loss here. No losses in overtime or anything like that. So, how do you not go with the Bruins here? I think they're going to really, not necessarily score a lot, but I just can't see the Penguins scoring a lot. I think it might be tight. Pittsburgh will still play some good defense, but I think the Bruins win this one 3-2.
All right.
3-1.
And Michael is concerned about the whereabouts of one Buffer.
He is worried about Buffer.
If you're out there, if you could just say hello, we'd love to hear from you.
I want to make sure you're okay.
And Tony, with these picks, listen, you could go chalk all day and it looks good. And then the game starts and, things go a different way than you would assume. And you look at this game, this seems like complete insanity. My second out of 4 picks, going against a team that's -305 on the money line. I'm going to take the Coyotes. Vejmelka at home.
I think you just love saying that name. Honestly.
Out-dueling Bovorowski. I feel like pretty good pronunciation there or not?
Yeah, pretty good.
And I'm rooting for the underdog here. I want the Coyotes to get as good as possible before they move to Hartford, Connecticut. And I think it starts with being a team like the Panthers. So I'm going to say Vejmelka out-duels Bovorowski as I botch it.
Bobrovsky.
Done.
Bobrovsky.
And I'm going to say 2-1 Coyotes in overtime because you love when people talk like that. So a couple comments.
We did. Before is here, by the way. Show shunned him. I would imagine I would like to visit one day. Before, like, just show up. I mean, I feel like we're not gonna not let you in here. We're gonna have you come in here.
And is it kind of odd? I didn't expect, Before very strong with the comments to play the victim card here.
Yeah, I guess so. And then Michael's asking how Cosner's doing. And he wants Cosner preferring at the same time, dude. Full house.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be dope.
The merrier, Tony, right?
I mean, prefer again, it's that Yankee Mets, going on. The Yankee versus the Mets here, dude.
So something to keep an eye out for. But where are you going, Tony?
Okay,
for number 3 here.
Sorry,
is that a bite?
I was writing down the overtime bite. You have to, dude.
Oh,
the Coyotes, the Bobrovsky, dude. It's a good time over here.
Bobrovsky.
My mother's checking in and saying good morning.
But he's not.
Yeah,
right?
you're putting
from Russia?
Bobrovsky. It's not. I mean, I would imagine so, right?
Okay. Yeah.
My mother, hello, making your cheesecake this
weekend.
There
we go. So
there we
can't
go.
Can't wait to try that.
There we go.
The more cheesecakes, the better, no?
Okay, dude. So my next pick here, looking at some of our matchups here. I think I'll take the Devils tonight, to Mike's surprise and happiness. You're looking at the Devils. I understand, Vancouver has shown some bright spots. Elias Peterson is doing pretty well. But I mean, in reality, I think that this Devils team, 6-3 start, I feel like, kind of wind down a little bit, but then they picked it up. They won 4 of the past 5 games, scored 7 goals 2 nights ago against Columbus. Like I said, I talked about this Devils team last year, I should say, a very young team, not a lot of chemistry, not a lot of experience. And just the more they play it together, they will, just get better. They have a lot of talent on the team, a lot of young talent. And I think you're seeing that now. I mean, scoring 7 goals, they beat Colorado 1-0 too as well, shutting out Colorado. That's playing good defense right there. Something they really didn't show last season at all. Of course, obviously it's Colorado. It's tough. I know they only scored 1 goal, but still a win is a win. Shutting out Colorado, as Michael says, haha, it is to my surprise and happiness. Let's go Devils. I'm telling you, I think this is the year, Michael. He's going to revive his Devils jersey. Okay, he's going to get his fandom back going, dude. The Scotty Gomez, the Brodeur, if you want. But nonetheless, I see the Devils come out here against Vancouver, firing in Canada. Heavy hitters. They win 5-2.
They screwed me over all last year. I do not care, Tony. The Oilers are defeating the Predators. Both teams, really, actually, because I feel like earlier on in the year, I picked
both
the Oilers
teams,
every time. And then every time the Predators, vice versa, whatever. But I like Jack Campbell, coming over from Toronto. I think he's filled in admirably in net. So I want to say, the Oilers do not struggle to score. That is for sure. So I want to say 7-2. The Oilers over the Predators. Give Leon Draisaitl a hat trick, Tony.
I think he's due for one.
Yeah, because McDavid's had one. He's next.
Okay, so we're doing 3 here?
Final? Somebody said 4.
Somebody said 4?
Producer. Yep. Yeah, 4.
Okay.
Fourth and
final. Yeah, dude. All right. Ooh, baby. Okay. You know what? I'll take another underdog tonight.
Dogs are fun.
Dogs are fun, especially in hockey, dude, because it really just gets you in the game, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be mindful of this here. Washington here at home.
Backup tender.
Has it been confirmed?
I think could be unconfirmed. But I mean, Darcy sucks anyways.
I know. I would say Darcy sucks, dude.
I mean, you only played in the Stanley Cup Finals last year.
Yeah, I mean, geez, dude. Where the hell is Washington here?
Up.
Oh yeah, Charlie Lindgren. Regardless of the backup goalie,
Ovechkin.
I know it's out of Ovechkin.
Tom
Wilson at home. Tom Wilson, the bruiser. I just think that Ovechkin 5-4 start here. Not exactly the year not exactly the way to get off the year, start the year that he wants. He only has 8 points in the season, 5 goals in 9 games. Last season he was scoring, probably averaging 2 goals a game for the first like 10 games. I think tonight, I understand, Vegas has really stepped up. Eichel has been all over the place. He's a big reason why the entire team has been doing better. They're 8-2 here. But I just think Washington, it's Ovechkin. It's kind of, old talent versus new talent here, semi-new talent anyway. And I think that although, Thompson's been doing very well, 2 shutouts on the season so far. He is 4-2, but a .943 save percentage. I think that Ovechkin, he's gonna run into some trouble here. This is the game. It's Ovechkin. It's a hat trick with an assist. You're seeing him going coast to coast, wheeling and dealing between players, showing that his age means absolutely nothing. He's a phenomenon. Give me the Capitals here, decisively winning this one 5-2.
All right.
By the way, Vegas -170. Bet the house again on the Capitals tonight. I'm telling you,
wow.
you'll be a millionaire between the Bruins and the Caps tonight.
A lot of confidence there. A lot of confidence.
I'm telling you, dude.
So kind of tough here, but you know what? Hey, we fade them all year. We'll fade them again.
Yeah.
Give me the Canadiens, dude, in Minnesota tonight.
Wow.
We talked about Fleury, the ineptitude. It kind of seems like, too, Marty St. Louis, new leaf since taking over as head coach. How about Caulfield? Possibly 2 goals and 1 assist tonight. Who knows?
Absolutely, dude. Suzuki maybe 2. By the way, another dog. Dude, another dog.
Oh, a legend, Michael Theophil, strolls in here. Is that preferred too behind you?
Legend.
But I'm gonna say Canadians 3-0. Wild suck. Don't
Wow,
care,
dude.
And the Canadiens pick up their 6th
The heavy dog.
victory of the season. So,
The dog.
the
Legal pass.
NHL day by day gets more exciting, and I really can't wait to see the Rangers here in the next couple of weeks. I think this would be important. Let's get off to that same start
Let's get off
that we had last season. I think that will pay very big dividends here. That is for sure. So let's just go very quickly, Tony. If we could speed walk to the world of Major League Baseball.
Oh,
2-2, he got him swinging. A back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray. There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Sayonara. Where did that land? Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
Regarding the Yankees, before we get into game 3, obviously series tied at 1 game apiece. Tony, if you would just quickly, off the rip, biggest hope for this offseason for the New York Mets, go.
Ooh, wow.
One
dude.
thing.
No, keeping DeGrom.
Oh. And are you willing to go wherever you need to go?
Yeah.
6 years, $300 million. Done?
Done.
Wow. And what if
says Nimmo?
now what if going over, I don't know, like $200 million with DeGrom means that you can't keep Edwin Diaz? Are you okay with that?
Well, why would that mean that?
Just payroll flexibility.
I mean, not really.
You're really I feel like you're someone like, unless like they get like Tawan Walker, you're good. Let him go.
Yeah,
right?
let him go.
Same thing with Carrasco, even though he's under contract still, right?
Yeah.
How is he still under contract?
I don't
by
know,
the way?
dude. Cookie needs to go.
But you really want to keep guys in house. I think that's a big thing for you.
Yeah.
Possibly a Conforto reunion, or that's pushing it.
I honestly would like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great defensive outfielder. And I think his back can come around. I mean, and I think it'd be a good, again, clubhouse guy, good morale boost, bringing him back. The fans would love that. And I think, regardless of how Conforto, how he played the past couple of seasons, the roughness at the plate, some of the defensive mistakes, the looking for a bigger contract and free agency here. It's sad to see that he's not even playing.
Yeah,
shoulder
surgery.
Yeah, that's a sad story, dude. He deserves another shot in the major leagues here. He can do it.
And how do you feel about Nimmo coming back?
Wow. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's I forget who is offering. Not
The Rockies,
Chicago,
the
oh,
Rockies.
Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, what if it's that deal? Are you saying sayonara?
Yeah, I think it's kind of dude. It's gonna be a little dim for him back in New York here with the Mets. I mean, but again, I mean, obviously, not the greatest, leadoff hitter here. He's had some bright spots at the plate, but really, you saw a huge improvement in his play in the outfield. Like just better ball tracking. Bigger plays in the outfield, good defense. That was someone who was kind of thrown to the outfield, who was horrible a few years ago in the outfield. He was like atrocious.
Right.
Like it was only because, the other outfielder at the time was like Dom Smith that he was still out there, but he made significant improvements and you love to see that someone who, had that drive to get better, especially with your team. But I think that, if it comes down between him and someone else, I mean,
sayonara.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah. I mean, you can only fit so much.
I know. You got to be perfect. You got to think about the better of the team here. Okay. You can't just be, oh, I like him,
Right. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. And I believe, is it almost like right after the World Series free agency starts?
Yeah. Right.
I think so. So hopefully we'll have some questions that will finally get answered.
Number one thing for the Yankees this offseason. What do you want?
Judge?
That's a good one. But I mean, that's like obvious. Like what else?
Not an obvious one.
Of course it's an obvious one. Everyone wants Judge to stay. Let's just say
okay, so Judge stays.
Judge stays.
Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, okay, there we go. I like that.
I mean, the grit, Tony, the intensity. That's what we need. And I think we'll have an open spot in the rotation because Tyone is not coming back. You already did the goodbye post, and I could see Tyone going to the Mets, honestly.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, honestly.
Yeah. Fill in for Walker.
Yeah.
Right.
And we could also, if need be, put him in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude.
So we will see. We didn't really talk about it yesterday, but obviously games 1 and 2 over the weekend. Phillies winning game 1, the big comeback. Falling in game 2, Valdez, the sticky stuff. All of that, and we find ourselves after a rain out last night in Philadelphia tonight, game 3, in virtue of the rain out. The Astros stick with their announced starter yesterday in Lance McCullers. The Phillies go with Suarez instead of Syndergaard, which I think really plays to their advantage. And not that Suarez is Bob Gibson, but Syndergaard, I mean, really has not shown me much this year, and it just very odd. It's almost like something went wrong with that Tommy John surgery, because as far as I'm concerned, I want to say over 90% of the people that I've seen get Tommy John surgery, especially ones that are around 30 years of age or younger, come back throwing harder. So for him to be throwing slower, something's not right. I mean, look at Verlander. Same velocity. He's 39, Tony. Syndergaard is 30. So I mean, I don't understand what happened there.
Syndergaard sucks.
Yeah, he really does. But maybe we've talked about it. Maybe he needs to go to the bullpen. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe the velocity comes
Maybe
back.
He just needs to retire.
That too. But what do you think here? What would you say the chances are Phillies win these 3 home games, World Series champs, Robbie Thompson, the Cinderella story, all of that, Harper MVP? I mean, any chance we get that, or you think we're going 7 here?
I think we're going to go 7. I'm sticking to my original guns here. Yeah, we're definitely going to go 7. I mean, I think that, Phillies have definitely proved themselves. Again, Thompson, Bryce Harper in the postseason so far.
Schwarber.
Even Kyle Schwarber and Reese Hoskins.
Bryson Stout.
Don't you wish Didi was still on the Phillies, dude?
He'll still get a ring. But
he will still get a ring.
Didi needs to come back to the Yankees as an assistant coach. I mean, I love the energy. I think that would be a home run.
Anyway, I do think that these 2 teams are boding well in terms of a matchup. Obviously, 1-on-1 here. But I do think, I just think the Astros in the big spot. And dare I say, I think Bregman's going to come up big in these next few games. I think he's going to be a big reason why they're winning. Because I think after Verlander, after Suarez, who's the other pitcher for the Astros? I'm blanking.
Valdez.
They're number 2. Yeah. Framber.
You think
Valdez.
he was using Spider Tech?
No.
But you saw, obviously.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing, but I mean,
the umps checking him. But are they in on the fix too? It's the World Series. They wanted to be able to grip the ball. I mean, no.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think the last thing that the MLB needs as a league is to have an internal investigation against the umps and shit like that. I mean,
they're in on it, so there is no investigation.
But there's going to be an investigation.
They told the teams, we're letting it slide. Don't say anything.
That's crazy. Then why are you
we'll
even...
KO you. So try us.
KO you?
Meaning like
we'll knock you out?
Yeah. Just wanted to check, Tony. But I mean, you would think.
I don't think, dude. Exactly.
Dude,
it's like the non-throwing hand. It was in his glove. The hand gets sweaty. It's in the glove.
Wiping his pants though before the umpire check. I mean, I know you saw that.
Well, yeah. So, but like it's sticky stuff. It's not going to take it off. Like what's on his pants that's taking off the spider tack? No way, dude.
Know. Maybe he's got some talcum powder.
Even so, no talcum powder. Get out of town. That's ridiculous.
Anyway,
sorry, we have 4 comments. Holy shit! I saw some crazy stuff with the Astros pitchers this playoffs with the sticky icky stuff.
Yeah, real sketchy. I mean, it's like the Patriots. I mean, it is like the Patriots. Why are they always involved in this type of stuff? The Patriots with all their filming, the deflating of the balls, the taping of the walkthrough for the Rams Super Bowl, for the Bengals game against the Jets, Mangini ousting them, all of that, Tony.
Mangini?
Where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm just saying.
I understand that, but where there's no smoke, okay?
I mean, that there was definitely some level of suspicion there. I mean, nobody's denying that.
Suspicion for who? Fans?
For Valdez. I mean, everybody.
Right. Suspicion from the fans, though. Everyone else seems to be all copacetic on it.
Rob Thompson said he saw it. Said they checked it out.
Well, obviously, it seems like that. Phillies managers have a history of trying to call pitchers out. Okay,
because he was Girardi's
Girardi and Scherzer,
dude. Will Girardi get another job, Tony?
No. As a manager of baseball, I don't think so, dude. Did you hear what the Phillies were saying about him?
No. Castellanos signed with them in the offseason. I guess he talked to him twice the whole season before he was fired. That's over a couple of months. I guess Girardi, very militarian in his leadership. That's what they were saying.
They were saying people didn't feel good coming into practice and going to work because he was a fucking ass.
Yeah.
As Michael says, if it was against the Mets, Tony would be riled. Well, obviously there'd be a little bit more riledness in it, but no. I mean, hey man, the guy gets checked. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You want to go there, Brian? Check him yourself.
All I'm saying is enough of this nonsense. Can the Phillies freaking win this series?
They're not gonna win the series, dude.
They're gonna win tonight. They're winning tonight, Tony.
Is there rain in the forecast?
No rain.
Suarez,
6 shutout innings. Bryce Harper, 2 home runs. Phillies 3-1 over the Astros. Book it.
I could see the Phillies winning tonight, honestly, too.
Yeah, exactly. So enough said, Tony. But you know what time it is now.
Oh, you want me to hit it, dude?
The Prism Pack Reveal. Pipes need a little break here.
And the overtime call really got you, dude.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like there was some song I wanted you to play, but I just...
Oh, you have a request? Wow, dude.
I
talk to
it,
DJ
though.
Tony.
I forgot it, though. That's the problem.
You got to write these things down.
Yeah, okay, I don't know what the name of it. I don't know if you probably won't know what I'm talking about, but they always play it at basketball arenas before they introduce the starting lineup. At guard, the 6'5" center, and it's like, like I don't know exactly what it is, Tony, but
it's not that.
No, it's. Oh, man.
Michael may know.
I don't know if it's Journey. I don't know if that would make sense.
Journey? I don't know. My mother says, by the way, Dad, my father says he saw the players using a lot of sticky stuff. My father's a very suspicious man.
There you go.
And my mother says if it's not the Mets, not really interested. Brian, what do you think about that?
It's not the Yankees. Not really interested. But you know what I am interested in? Some music, Tony. So anything. Give me anything.
Anything. I'll go with the NBA here. Let's go.
All right. There we go. I think Michael will get a kick out of this one. The former New York Knicks great, number 6, Kristaps Porzingis.
Wow, dude.
The versatile 7-footer, once called a unicorn. And this one, I have to get my voice ready for. Michael might burst into the room after he hears this one. From the Cleveland Cavaliers, number 35, Isaac Okoro. So Isaac Okoro, I would say probably our all-time Prism pick leader. I want to say we have 15 cards at this point. So
At least.
that is a big one. And how about back-to-back days? I want to say this is a different card, though, than the one, but the same player. An emergent card from the Sacramento Kings, Davion Mitchell. So we go Mitchell back-to-back days. We got some young talent here. I know Porzingis isn't really young anymore, but between Okoro and Mitchell, and then kind of a no-namer here. But who knows? Maybe he's up and coming. From the Charlotte Hornets, Scotty Lewis.
Wow. All right.
So
love the
not
Hornets.
too bad.
Yeah,
for
dude.
pick 4 there, and I cannot wait to hear what Michael has to say about Isaac Okoro.
Not too bad for a Tuesday morning, huh, Brian?
Not too shabby, Tony. But as we near today's ends, anything else you want to add? Anything coming up?
Well, actually coming up today, we're gonna have certainly a gaming corner later tonight. We're gonna be playing a throwback PS2 game. We're still in the middle of deciding it, but 5 o'clock gonna be a gaming corner. It's gonna be a good time. Again, throwing it back to PS2. I don't know if you have any experience in the PlayStation 2, Brian. But I mean, there's a plethora of phenomenal nostalgic games that bring you,
MLB Slugfest.
right back to coming home from school,
Pitcher on fire,
firing it
fighting
up,
the batter.
dude.
Oh! I know you know that. From
Yeah, I
MLB
do. Yeah.
Slugfest.
Getting
Matt used to
KO'd.
love it too.
Oh, I bet
I
he
think
would
we
get
used to play it
riled,
at Eastern,
dude.
maybe. And then something about you losing a PGA Tour tomorrow.
Oh, that's right, Manana. That's right, dude.
Manana.
Ryan Barnaby is going to be visiting the studio for not the sports port, not the screen time, but the gaming corner. Who knew Brian liked to play games? PGA Tour, 22. I've never played. 23, excuse me. I forgot that they go a year, whatever, dude. But I've never played before. I'm very interested to see on the PlayStation 3.
4.
Oh, PlayStation 4. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know why I thought 3. But anyway, I'm super stoked, dude. Who are you going to play as?
Maybe my character. I just take it easy on you. You could be Tiger,
Okay. You want me to be an old guy with a bad back?
No, be anybody. Be anybody you want. Michael Jordan. You can be Michael Jordan.
I'll say that one for Michael. Michael and Michael.
Michael will want to be Michael Jordan.
We do have a couple comments, Brian, before we kind of
wrap
close out
things
here.
up here.
My Matthew says, Met steak, Mrs. Materiello. However, your cheesecake is exquisitely delicious. My mother now says, okay, Matthew, they did blow it. However, they don't stink. If you want cheesecake, don't be mean. Oh, it's okay. The Yankees blew it too. They also stink. Can't wait for Christmas party and cheesecake and the Napoleon cake. Wow. Matthew is digging the sweets. Maybe Halloween, he got some candy. He's still craving for the sweets, dude. Oh, it's funny.
All sounds delicious. But right now, I definitely could go for some penny vodka.
Dude, Gaetano's.
Gaetano's would be great. We're starving.
So have you ever gotten like any of their stuff, like not a sandwich, but any like their dinner stuff? Have you gotten like a dinner from there?
I mean, I definitely have gotten the penny vodka before, the chicken parm, the teriyaki chicken, the sweet and sour chicken as well. So a couple
Sweet and
different
sour
things.
chicken.
Yeah, the
No
bread,
kidding.
the stuffed bread is very good.
Oh, I love stuff, dude. The stuffed bread, dude.
Oh man, that is good stuff. But really would like to thank everybody for tuning in today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe.
Like the finish on this puppy?
As well as checking out the archives
What a
on
show,
the YouTube
what a life.
page, Tony in Costume, all of that.
Sayonara, Tony.
DowntimeTV.com for some merch. But everybody enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.